Right, to save my life.
All right, you ready?
Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, everyone, everywhere, depending on where and when you're watching. Well, this is the last Sunday of March, and we know March was Women's History Month, and we celebrated the accomplishments of women all month long. And you know, it's the last Sunday, we're always talking about health. So that is going to be our topic as we close out this Women's History Month. We're going to be talking about women's health. Ironically, as I am suffering today with allergies, I am just getting a voice and able to talk to you today. But we're going to be talking about women's health. Now, most women are very good at taking care of their health. Whether you're going with allopathic, whether you're going with naturopathic, maybe you're doing a little bit of both. We are going to be trying to get to the root of some of our health issues and challenges. Women, we don't have a problem going to the doctors. Let there be a little sniffle. We're going because we know that we've got responsibilities not only to ourselves, but to our families, our children, our husbands. We can't afford to be sick. A man get a sniffle and he is down for the count. He ain't go to the hospital, but he's down for the count. But women know that we must keep ourselves up. So we're going to be talking about women's health with our chief medical advisor, Chief Dr. Urgoji today. Welcome to Africa Online TV. And as I said, the topic for today is women's health. Now, I've not had a chance to go outside, but early this morning, and it was a little chilly outside my door. What's it looking like outside your door? And at this time, we're going to have our editorial by my co-host, Professor Nia Sung. How are you this afternoon?
Fine, thank you very much. Contrary to what you are suffering out there, I am feeling much better. The temperature this morning as I went to church was 74 degrees. It is about 77 now, and we are just grateful. It's actually 81, I just checked. It's 81 degrees now here in Maryland. That being said, it is, as you said, March, the end of March. It is March the 30th, the last but one day of the month of March. That makes it 89 days since 2025 started. So we've lived 89 days of 2025 as marked on the Gregorian calendar. That being said, there are just 279 days left. Not just, but there are 279 days left until the end of 2025. It is the 13th Sunday of 2025 on the 14th week of 2025 using United States Standard Week number calculations. Today is the 11th day of spring. Yes, spring has been with us for 11 days. That is why those allergies are being so severe. That leaves us, of course, 82 days to go before we get to summer, the other season in North America. This March 30th is Eid al-Fitr, that is the first two canonical festivals of Islam. Eid al-Fitr marks the end of Ramadan, the Muslim holy month of fasting, and is celebrated during the first 3 days of Shawwal, that is their 10th month. Eid al-Fitr is a time of official receptions and private visits when friends greet one another, presents are given, new clothes are worn, and the graves of relatives are visited. Yes, that is one of the great things that they do in that religion. With that being said, now is the moment to turn into our topic, or onto, rather, not into, but onto our topic of the month, the topic of the day, rather, not the month, women's health and wellness. They are not only depression and high blood pressure, and they are also not only breast cancer and endometriosis, neither are they only diabetes and fibromyalgia. Diseases akin to the women folk are legion, and they tend to visit devastation on women on a rather daily basis, unfortunately. Yes, many experts and practitioners agree that women's health and wellness and wellness needs are generally based on their anatomy and specific characteristics. This requires various administrations and policymakers the need to do all they can to improve the health, quality of life, and life expectancy of all women and girls. Probably with that in mind, the World Health Organization, WHO, which some have shunned, seeks to end, that is a quote, to end maternal mortality, promote newborn birth, and eliminate mother-to-child transmission of communicable diseases, end of quote. On the other hand, the World Health Organization defines health as, quote, a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So whatever we say, even that common cold is an illness. Unfortunately, however, efforts to attain the goal of providing basic health to everyone are further complicated by poor or outright non-availability of highly needed resources and the sometimes changing health needs in women and girls in particular. But hope is not lost, as various governments, international organizations, and caregivers spare no effort in ensuring that something positive is done, which is why women must be at the forefront in the decision-making part of the discussion, not just as caregivers. No one understands the woman's anatomy more than the woman. So men should make way for women as decision makers in things having to do with women's health and wellness. On that note, I cede the opportunity to the chair of AfricaOnline Media Corporation, who is available to at least welcome us to the show. Her Highness.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Niasong. I'll do more than just welcome us to the show. And of course, I'm a woman and we're talking about women's health. Thank you so much, Niasong, for your faithfulness. Ambassador Lisa, I rebuke those allergies in the name of Jesus. You are a woman of God. You have no business dealing with all this, so thank you for pressing your way. The allergies can't stop you. Like Shay Brown said in one of his comedy kids, we don't have that kind of illness in Africa because we eat allergies for breakfast. That's what he said. So but all jokes aside, I want to thank our Chief Medical Advisor, Dr. Kingsley Urgoji, who is here, who's been here for 9 years. Again, this March makes us 9 years on the air. And we are going to be celebrating big time our 10th year anniversary. I know we have transformed lives. We're not putting much stuff on our website because we depend on volunteers. Dr. Crosslin has been faithful from when. Dr. Crosslin, when did you join us? Was it 2024 or 2023? I think 2024. And she's here every Sunday. So Debbie has been with us for about 2 or 3 years now. There's a caller. I don't know who that is. If they're calling on the phone, you will get a chance to speak and identify yourself. And on behalf of AfricaOnline Media Corporation, I want to welcome all of you and all our viewers, those who we are streaming live on YouTube now. We used to stream live on Facebook, so we have a lot more followers on Facebook than YouTube. But we are hoping that those Facebook followers would subscribe to our YouTube channel, and new subscribers will come on board and share this YouTube link. We're also looking for student interns, so if you are in academic or you know somebody in academia, we are looking for student interns. They will get credit for community service or service learning opportunities. Women's health is very important. The women are usually the ones that manage a household. So if they're not healthy, the household is not healthy. And if they're not healthy, the household is not healthy, the community is not healthy. If the community is not healthy, the nation is not healthy. So Dr. Urgoji is on. Aniasong, I'll hand over to you so you and Ambassador Lisa can steer the steering.
I'm happy to see Debbie coming back to the show today. We've missed her for a number of weeks, But all the same, that being
Wait,
said,
which Debbie is that? Is that Debbie McCormick or the other Debbie?
that's right. Yeah, I didn't see which of the
Okay,
Debbie
which
was.
Debbie?
Yes.
Which Debbie is on?
It's Debbie McCormick, Your Highness.
Oh my
Okay. You've been
God.
missing.
We feel abandoned because the other Debbie was on, I think, last Sunday. So, well, you're welcome. All right, Niaso.
Yes. That being said, our Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Urgoji, is present, and when he unmutes, he will
He's unmuted. Dr. Goji, we saw you earlier. What happened to your camera?
Yeah, I think the camera went dark. Okay, there he comes. Dr.
Yeah.
Urgoji, please, the show is over to you. Welcome. Say your first words before we continue with asking you questions and interrogating you on what women's health is all about. We're not going to embarrass you.
Let me say this, Dr. Urgoji can never be embarrassed. He's always ready. We're not going to be interrogating. We'll just ask nicely questions. Yes. Yes. All right, Dr. Urgoji.
No, you are not coming through. We're not hearing you.
Dr. Urgoji, where's your mic?
No, it's not coming through.
We cannot hear you.
Yeah, that being said,
we can't hear you.
Okay, we're not hearing you.
Let me see if his sound is Oh, Dr. Urgoji, your audio is not connected. Okay, yeah, his audio is connected now. Okay, unmute.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent.
Thumbs up. Go ahead, please.
Women's health is a very vast topic. We're talking about women's health from now till tomorrow. We have a lot to talk about. However, I'll base on the definition of World Health Diagnosis of Health, a state of physical, mental, and social well-being, not necessarily the absence of disease. So, what that means is that a healthy woman is a woman that is healthy physically, mentally, and socially. Those three components must be included to say you are healthy. So we all talk about physical health. That's the most common, that's what everybody knows. Physical health in women starts, and by this I mean women is 18 plus. So if you're 18 plus, you're a woman. Under 18, you're a child or a baby.
Wow, a girl.
A girl. I mean, teenager, baby, and whatever.
Okay.
So we in the medical field, we start talking about women health care from the age of 18, talk about what do women do from 18. Between 18 and 25, we want every woman to be physically active. That means exercise regularly, regular checkup, regular medical checkup, which include healthy sex, abstinence from sex, make informed decision about sex, preventing STD, and preventing unwanted pregnancy. That's what we focus on. Their sexual health, their mental health, and preventing things like diseases like sexual health, STDs, and pregnancy. Because most of the STDs are common in women less than 25. That's why WHO recommends every girl under the age of 25 come to you, do screening for gonorrhea, chlamydia, and trichomonas for all of them. STD screening for every woman less than 25 because we assume that those are the people at higher risk of STD. So screen them, yearly screening. If you are less than 25, come to me, I'll do a test for gonorrhea, chlamydia, and trichomonas. These are STDs. I'll talk to you about healthy sexual practices, which include abstinence, preferable, but if you must do it, barrier protection to prevent STD. We talk about unwanted pregnancies, so we offer different type of contraception from national family planning to birth control pills, including long-acting birth control pills, because teenagers 18, 19, 20 may not be trusted in taking their pills every day. So we tend to push for the long-acting birth control like the IUDs, the Nexplanon, and things like that. That's our focus for women under the age of 25, please. Then we'll start what we call cervical cancer screening from 21. We should do every 3 years for women under the age of 25 to prevent cervical cancer. We do that every 3 years to age of 30. And then we'll talk about mental health. We screen them for depression, anxiety. When you come on, we do screening for depression, anxiety to see if you have anxiety or depression. We'll offer you treatment, including counseling and medication if need be. Of course, we'll talk about social well-being. Now, let's also talk about sport activity. Do you exercise regularly? Do you have a body in your class or in your school? Do you have social interaction with family members? You have limited screen time? Do you spend all the time on the screen, or do you talk about other things in life? Because the teenage life right now is the life of a woman is very, 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 very difficult with the onset of social media and WhatsApp, computer. People look at what they call ideal lifestyle on the social media, and they want their life to be that way. It's not possible. What you see on the social level, on the social media, is the best of people. That happens only in about 1 in 5%. I mean, let me put it that way. I look at social media like a gambler. I go to gamble. I go there and spend $500 every month, and I lose money every day. 500 every day. The day I win $10,000, I put you on social media. I won $10,000. People clap for me, pray for me. But I've lost $500 every day for the past 5 years, or
Oh.
1 month. So $500 every day for the past 1 month is almost $15,000 compared to 10,000 I win once in a while. So what you see on social media regarding clothing, mental health, relationship, sexual practices is the best of the best that happens 1% of the time. That's not reality. So if you say a young girl want to judge her life by what the social media, they are bound to be frustrated, depressed, and disappointed because that's not real. So we talk about those things to people under the age of 25. Between 25 and above, start talking about more. Talk about domestic violence, relationship. I forgot about smoking. Smoking, alcohol, drug use, also big in the younger population. We talk about it in the people less than that age too. So talk about all those things to make sure that they are overall healthy in the mental health, the physical health, and in the social front. And then when women get married, when they start going to full-time relationship, companionship, marriage, long-term relationship, we talk about making sure you have what we call a social body. Because sometimes people get married and their partner, it goes both ways, but talk about women. So the partner tries to seclude them from their social network. If you don't have a boyfriend or a husband and he said, don't talk to don't talk to your friends, don't talk to your family, that's abuse right away.
That's
Because
true.
it's normal. So say, please, no matter what happens, you must have somebody outside your family, but that would mean your husband, your boyfriend, or your immediate family that you can confide when things are difficult,
Biden.
that you can call and talk to things. So that helps you to know what's happening around you. So if things are worse, you know who to call. So that's all we talk about women to make sure that have that safety net. Talk to people when things are getting worse. And
Dr.
then,
Ogoji, can I just say something real quick? Is that okay, guys?
go ahead, please.
So you catch your breath. You talked about this and I pulled the image. Can you guys see this?
No. Yes.
You don't see an apple and a mirror?
No, it just came up now.
When Dr. Ogoji was talking about the lottery and women showing their life in social media, or the person that lose $500 every day on lotto and don't announce it, but announce the 10,000. This is what this image is showing, where you see this side of the apple, but you don't know what is on this side. I just wanted to show this to add to what Dr. Ogoji is saying. it's a thought of the day. Social media never shows the whole picture. Perfection is an illusion. You know, so I wanted to just mention that. I've used that image. That image is very profound. You see something, it looks like, oh, this person got it all together. Meanwhile, they are empty on the other side. And before Dr. Urgoji continues, when he was talking about that safety net, it is so critical because when you are in a relationship and your partner wants to isolate you from your network, either family or social network, that is a red flag that they're going to abuse you. Because when they isolate you, you don't have anybody, nobody will be checking on you, nobody will know what's going on with you. And I like the fact that Dr. Urgoji even went further and said that if that happens, that is abuse up front. So I just wanted to comment on that. Dr. Urgoji, please continue. But that was so profound. I wanted to show that picture to add to what you were saying about the lotto, the fake life, and then also the abuse. Go ahead, Dr. Urgoji.
Yeah. So so all this boils down to healthy women. I mean, I see a lot of teenagers coming to me, not teenagers, men in their 30s looking for things to enhance their sexual health. Is watching abnormal pornography
Oh,
where
no.
people perform sexual activity for hours. That's not normal.
Oh,
So our
no.
teenagers or you think that is normal, and that create problem relationship among couples. So when they come to you, you have to say, look, don't watch those things. Those are not normal.
No.
So you see those things, you want to behave that way, and then you find yourself taking things that you don't need that will damage your sexual health. So social media has a place in life, but it has destroyed human relationship by giving us what is appear to be a perfect scenario, why perfection is an illusion, as Reverend just said it.
Yeah.
So
That is, oh my, that's scary what Dr. Urgoji just said.
That being said, Dr. Urgoji, where do we put eating and drinking? Drinking water, not alcohol anyway.
I mean, again, that goes on to thank you for the redirection. We all should drink enough water to stay hydrated. Water is the key to life.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell my patients, if you don't drink 8 glasses of water a day, you've not started.
Mm.
8 glasses of 8 ounces of water. 8 glasses of 8 ounces of water. That means when you wake up in the morning, you take a glass of water.
Mm-hmm.
Then you take one with breakfast. You take one between breakfast and lunch. You take one with lunch. That's 6. You take one between lunch and dinner. You take one with dinner. That is 6 glasses. They have to find a way to add 2 more glasses in between.
What about eating?
When you come to food, we talk about maintaining a healthy life, healthy weight. Some people are lucky, they can eat all the food and stay skinny. Don't follow those guys. Some of us, we really like food. We like to eat all the food in the house, but we have to watch what we eat. So I tell people, you eat to stay healthy. You don't, you eat to live. You don't live to eat.
To eat.
Yes.
So, and that's why I say, if you don't eat your food like medicine, you're gonna eat medicine as food in
Yeah,
future.
food. Yeah.
I tell people, whatever you dish out your plate, make sure you have at least 3 different colors: the greens, the protein, and the carbohydrates. The carbs are typically white, while the protein are typically meat or chicken, and the greens are usually vegetable. And when you're done eating, make sure that you have enough room for more food. Because if you eat until you have no more room, you've overeaten.
That is a good point. That is a touchdown right there.
Yeah.
Because some of us, like me, I eat until my stomach is full. There's no room. So what you are saying is that eat enough to be a little bit hungry.
Yes, yes. So
Mm.
most of us, by the time we get full, we drink a cup of water. Okay, then we create that room. That space we created is supposed to be empty. Don't eat more to fill that space.
Wow.
Okay. Dr. Urgoji, we'll turn to Debbie McCormick so that she can express herself and maybe ask you a question or two before we go to Dr. Crosslin. But we'll start with Debbie. Debbie, unmute please so you can express your views on the topic, women's health.
Wow. Greetings to my family. I love you guys, and I've missed hearing these lovely
We love you
voices.
too.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you so much for this educational topic, Dr. Urgoji. I don't even know where to begin, but I have to begin from somewhere. So
Sure.
basically, I understand from your talk that our young adults need more care than the older version of women. Is that accurate?
That's correct, because the pressure women are having right now, different from what we're having when we were growing up. Because they all see the ideal life on social media, they think that is normal, but it's not normal. So pressure is too much. They need re-education, redirection, and reorientation to know what is norm.
Debbie?
I appreciate that. Thank you. Just trying to put on my light.
Okay.
You look beautiful as usual.
Yes.
I just didn't want you to think that it's my ghost. It's still me.
Or AI.
Oh, Your Highness. Dr. Ogoji, this is very helpful. Um, what do we do? What would you advise those young adults who do not have access to social media? They have limited access to the sophisticated social media that a lot of the Western young adults have. How do you reach out to that group of young adults?
Honestly speaking, I think the world is a small village. I may be wrong, but I will tell you that in Nigeria, for instance, in every village you go, you see people carrying huge phones.
Cell phones.
Social media is no longer what it used to be, but the best way to reach the rural population in Africa, again, most of them have
Cell phone.
cell phone with different capability. I don't know how they afford it. I don't know how they get it, but it's widely available. So social media is no longer as restricted as it used to be. However, in case there is a community that doesn't have social media, they can afford it in Africa or in the developing world. The best place to reach them is through the church or
Yep.
through the local environment. And
Yes.
great. Hopefully, those pastors and those village chiefs will be passing out, giving them what they need to hear: exercise, diet, healthy life, and good social interaction with the community. I know the ideal life where people just want to, they see somebody driving a $1 million car, that's what they want to buy, and they don't want to go to school, they don't want to learn a trade, their parents have no money, and they want to have the best of life with a twinkle of an eye. Those things are not reality.
Well, Dr. Vivian Khumbah just joined us from the Gambia. She's a big time volunteer at the church. So, and this women's health, what Dr. Ogoji laid out so well, is something that she does on a regular basis with the young women there in the Gambia. So, Debbie, are you satisfied with the answer, or I just wanted to acknowledge Dr. Khumbah,
Your Highness, yes, I am. Thank you very much. You may proceed.
Yeah, and just let me just say something real quick before we go back to Nia Song. Dr. Ogoji, I'm so glad you said the church or the local community, but I don't know if things have changed now. But when we were growing up, you will not hear anybody talk about sex education in the church to children. Maybe they said it to the parents, but not to the young people. That was not a conversation. So I'm hoping, well, maybe Dr. Khumbah will be able to tell us because she's there. She's never left the continent. I mean, she's left the continent, but she dwells there. She went to school there. She dwells there. She's left to go visit out and come back. Not the US, of course, but so I don't know if they still do that. So do you want us to hear from Dr. Khumbah before we go to Dr. Crosslin, or let's hear from Dr. Crosslin? Then we'll give the mic to Dr. Khumbah. Nielsen, is your call.
Quickly from Dr. Crosslin. Then we'll go to Dr. Khumbah while she gets herself settled.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Just real briefly here. I was right in the middle of my facial massage, um, my at-home spa. So and I was reflecting on my own experiences based on what Dr. Urgoji was saying and comparing it to my life as a youngster and my lifestyle now, and comparing that to the world at large. So I agree with Dr. Agoji that there are different levels to maturity and to a person's taste for sex, for their environment, the people that they hang out with, what they're feeding themselves, anything a person wants to do in this world at whatever level of taste they have, it's out there. We've all heard of famous people who are very wealthy that really go overboard to satisfy and satiate their sexual desires. Doesn't matter if they're a young girl or an old girl. Um, People do what people do at different levels, and we can even look in the Bible and use Sodom and Gomorrah as a plumb line and see that a whole city was corrupt, a whole world city within a whole world system within a city, and God decided to destroy it.
Gotten off work.
What was that? Okay, let's turn now to Dr. Khumbah. She's all the way across the ocean on the continent. Dr. Khumbah, you're welcome to the show on this Sunday.
Thank you very much, and greetings to you all. Good to see all of you looking bright and sharp. You see, women's health is a very broad topic, I know, but I think from the last, I met Reverend Pam things. Reverend Pam just said something, and Dr. Crossley just said something that makes me think that we were talking about more about the reproductive health than anything else right now, because Reverend Pam was talking about sex, discussing sex in schools. It has evolved from where Reverend Pam is coming. It has evolved a good deal because the case has been clearly made that people need education. So, like it or not, it has gone a little, at least some steps away from where it was when we were growing up.
Awesome.
I personally, more than a decade ago, when I was still working in the southwest region of Cameroon in Buea, and working in the Catholic health sector, one of the things we really tried to do was to give sex education talks in schools, especially in Catholic colleges. That was not there when we were growing up. But
yeah, it wasn't.
I'm sorry, did you say only in college? Just wanted to make sure I heard you correctly.
In colleges, in schools.
In colleges, okay.
Yeah, in Cameroon, we call colleges as secondary schools.
College is high school, sorry. College means high school in Africa.
In Cameroon, actually secondary, lower than high school, secondary.
Secondary school.
Because up to about elementary, I don't know what you do.
Okay, so it's like middle school, Ambassador Lisa, because when we refer to college, it's not university.
You know that they are still like 10 years away from university, because we have 5 years plus 2, 7 before they can go to university. So they're at least 5 years away from university, many of them. Yes. So we had a chance to do some of these things with them, give them talks, and give talks even to parents regarding their children. You know, there's something they call a parent-teacher association meetings, PTA, and those are forums in the schools that bring parents into the school setting for meetings with school authority so that they can discuss the children's welfare. And one of the things we tried to slot into that discussion was sex education, because many parents themselves are not even aware what their children should know.
That's true.
They are not, and they don't see why anybody should talk to their children about sex education. Many of them, no matter how educated the African parent is. I think I mentioned it last week when we were talking about, what were we talking about? I was talking about discussing sex being a taboo. It has been a taboo in the African setting, but it is getting out. We are getting out of that more and more. And it is important because the more the young people know, the better for them, in the sense that, I mean, it is knowledge is empowerment. We all know that. So we are getting a few steps away from the total taboo situation. Okay, even though we still need to do more. And more recently, some civil society organizations, both local and international organizations, have gotten themselves very involved in things like menstrual hygiene, and through that, give these talks. Even here in the Gambia, I've talked to a lot of schools, a lot of young women, especially, on menstrual hygiene, and therefore have used that to talk about sexual education as much as possible. Yes. So that education is actually ongoing to a good level. But the challenge with that is that with the way young people, their kind of focus, their sense of what you want them to know or what they need to know is a little difficult for us to understand, knowing that they are growing up in an era that is different from ours, in the sense of all the exposure that they are getting. Too much exposure to so much technology. So, I mean, it is, I think it's overwhelming many of the young people. So that when one is talking some topics, you cannot be too conservative about the way you put it to them. Okay, because if I can use an example, even my own grandchildren, they are boys, yes, but they are young, they are below 10. But they know so much about sexuality from children's rights that they are watching. That's another thing. But my concern about that, as a Christian parent and doctor and grandmother, is the perversion in that language. Because it is not being presented to them in the divine in the manner of the divine plan. It is being to the point that children have even toys, dolls, that have anonymous sex or ambiguous sex organs. So you cannot make a clear difference of a male and a female, and how it develop, and how they each develop, and what comes next. A person is just a person and can be what they like. That is
the devil is a liar.
That is coming out in children's websites. In fact, I had to ban that in my daughter's house. They know me. They knew. In fact, my daughter tells them, "Are you watching this?" I'll tell Grandma, because I had to sit them down and ban certain sites and tell them, you just cannot put them on. Because you can't talk about somebody today is male, tomorrow is female, or was female, is now is male. They are doing it in children drama on their what do you call these things? On these their websites that they do. We call them near some and Pam, we call them in Cameroon Teng Teng. This
cartoon website, cartoon
websites, yes.
Yeah,
That's
cartoon.
right.
Thank you. That's the word, cartoon. They are doing it in cartoons. So that too is the whole.
That's dangerous.
It is. It is. In fact, if I didn't stay at home the period I stayed with my grandchildren, I would not have known that. I stayed with them. I had a chance to watch some of them.
I want to interrupt.
Yeah, Dr.
Real quick. Speaking of danger, I have, every time I have walked into a bathroom in the last 30 days, there's been a man either coming in or going out. And
what?
Yeah, all the bathrooms are gender neutral now.
Oh God.
Good. It is getting
Yeah, but with the children, what about the children now? Is my question to you all. Thank you.
In Philly, I mean, we didn't got off topic because we're supposed to be talking about women's health, but in Philly, we have single gender neutral bathrooms. It's not where you walk in and men and women are both in the bathroom together. We only have the single bathrooms that are like the family. It used to be the family where you would go with your kids. So we only have single bathrooms that are gender neutral, so a male or female. But we still have largely very large women's rooms and men's rooms. I've not seen uh, gender neutral bathrooms that are multiple stalls.
That
The
is
world, the world
scary.
is
So
changing, unfortunately. It's a changing world, changing for the worse, not for the better.
Yeah, unfortunately,
It's
Dr. Vivian, Dr.
It-
Goji, when I took my first trip to Africa back in 2006, I know what God said that I was supposed to go and teach at this singles conference. So what we did when we got off the plane, we put a newspaper so we could see what was actually going on in the country. And when we got the newspaper and read, we knew that we were on point with what God sent us to do. So my very first conference, my very first singles conference in Africa, in Uganda, was healing sexual brokenness. And the singles who came to the church, and I hadn't told the pastor what I was going to teach. She just like, come and teach.
well,
And
Ambassador Lisa, this was a female singles, right? Single females,
no, there
right?
was male and females.
Oh, okay. All right.
Mhm. And the pastor, she was so grateful. She told me, she said, you didn't see me. She said, but I was down on the floor under the table getting my own deliverance because there had been so much abuse, so much rape of these children trying to go get the water from the river, the teachers in school. There was just so much sexual abuse to these children. But yet at that point, like I said, 25 years, at that point, 20 years, they weren't teaching sexual education in schools. The parents were not talking about it at home. So I was like, well, where are these kids supposed to learn how to protect
Learn.
themselves? I always thought sex education should have been taught in the church. If you're a Christian and your children are going to church, they should be getting, if they're not getting it at home, they should be getting good sexual education in the church before they get out in the world.
That is so
That's
true.
correct, because it's very important for the children or for the young people.
I can't
to
hear
be
you, Dr.
equipped.
Vivian.
I wonder why.
Okay, now I'm understanding you a little bit better. You were just too low.
Oh, okay. I was saying that it is what you say is very essential, because the young people cannot just be left empty all the way, and then in adulthood they don't even know what to do, how to go about anything. And even before they get there, as you say, they cannot protect themselves from abuse easily. Because I remember giving a talk and when I talked to one of my nephews and shared with him, a young man, and shared with him, because he was questioning me. He lives out there in the US. And he was questioning me, oh, Auntie Vivian, what do you really do? You refuse to come to America. What are you doing with yourself? What doctor? Questioning. So I gave him an idea of what I do. And I reproduced for him a bit of something I said to youths like him. And much of it was more to empower, especially the girl child, to protect themselves against sexual assault of any sort. And he said, why do you do? I said, because women must be protected at all costs.
That's right.
I don't care what anybody says, but I think people call me feminist, whatever name they want to call me, but I think that the woman deserves empowerment to protect herself in a men's world like where we live in now.
So true.
Man, oh, Auntie Vivian, my wife will never come near you. You will empower her too much.
Typical Africa, your wife, so that the wife will not know her rights.
Exactly. You see, but what I try to do, especially when I give some of these talks, is to emphasize to the girls the power in them. Because there are ways to protect yourself from abuse. Like Ambassador Lisa was saying, talking about teachers and the old and the elders in the lives of the children. You'll be surprised that even family members, my own, I have seen right in the same house I lived, with children, between children of the same family, others trying to harass others. I mean, we experienced that. As a doctor in a Catholic hospital consulting, I came across a 12-year-old girl who was pregnant and in a Catholic college.
Oh, no.
And the school nurse brought her to the hospital and said, "Doctor, I need to check this girl because they complain that she sleeps a lot in class. Even the chaplain has said she sleeps during prayers. So I was advised to bring her to the hospital for the doctor to check." Yours truly, I was so dumbfounded when I found that girl pregnant. We did a pregnancy test. I questioned her, examined her. I was not sure what I was feeling in her pelvis. I sent her for pregnancy test. It was positive. And her auntie came. She was growing up with an aunt. Her aunt came raging fire in the hospital. "How dare you? This child is 12. You are bringing nonsense into my family. You cannot say this child is pregnant." I said, "Madam, I invited you here to talk with you, not to quarrel. Sit down, let's talk." We're not quarreling. It's a child. I'm a mother. So don't think I'll talk about a child as if I don't know what I'm talking about. See that when I gave her the story, she still resisted. But we didn't stop there. Luckily, the principal of that secondary school, of that Catholic college, was very bent on following the matter. What did we find out in the end? This woman who came raging, her
was her husband.
was actually abusing this girl.
Uh-huh.
Little cousin in the house, his only little cousin in the house. Right inside the same house, under the same roof with that same woman who was ranting. So talking about it, parents don't give attention to this thing. Caregivers, whatever they call themselves, parent figures in the lives of young people, take some of these things for granted, take them very lightly. But a lot is happening right inside family homes. And that's why we took it upon ourselves to prepare programs and talk even to parents. Because
that is so important.
Don't say, "Oh, he went into her room because he's her sister." No, don't talk like that. If you have, I grew up in my father's house. We were never less than 10 children in the house at a time. They didn't have to be my father's children, of course. So there was a standing rule: boys' room and girls' room. There are different rooms.
Good.
My father knew that. Even eating, boys all ate in the same bowl and girls all ate in the same bowl. You are different people. That kind of upbringing was very essential, and it is still very essential. People should understand the difference. Don't say he spent a lot of time in her room because it's his sister. No.
Why not spend it in the living room? Why not spend the time in the living room?
Watch TV together and do things together. Why go into her room?
Exactly.
It turned out that this girl was made pregnant by her own cousin.
Wow.
So these things are in families, and families should not ignore it, because it is, you can never tell. And in the world where we live now, with all the perversions and all the evil that we perceive, even you can almost smell it in the air. You don't even know what can happen next. So the education and the information for the people is very important, especially for women, the girl child. They are too vulnerable, and it is important. They are like praise, because even in the African setting, there is also the occultic angle to it, the evil angle to it. It is never enough education for them, because you see, sometimes I tell people that we want that the commonest or the most popular film industry in Africa is Nollywood in Nigeria. And they add some of these things in their films. Go and sleep with a virgin. People go and take medicine or something from the Marabu, from the native doctor, and he says you have to sleep. You have to go and sleep with a young virgin girl, or you have to do something. They go and do it in the film. And I tell people, films are acted from reality in the community.
Yep.
So don't just say it's just a film. Let the film educate you. That's the purpose of that film. It's not just a film. It's also a reality. It's acted from the reality of that community. So it should not be taken like it doesn't happen. It happens.
Right.
And
Dr. Vivian, Dr. Vivian, all this has been very wonderful. And when we have a show on sex education and children, we definitely want to have you back. But our focus today is on women's health. And while our sexuality, especially in our children, is a part of who we end up being as adults, we want to swing back around to what it is that we need to do to be very healthy adults. We know that we've been abused. We know that our children have been abused. They've been sexually active, whether it's against their will or not. But all these things come into making up the adults or the women, the adult women that we become. So, Dr. Goji, we want to get back to you as our guest speaker. How did we, you've heard the conversation, you mentioned sex education, and then that we just ran with that. But I want to bring it back around. Now that we know that these are some of our health challenges, you said to be healthy, we must be physically, mentally, and emotionally healthy.
Socially.
So when we've had these challenges as children, growing up into young adults, and now we are adults. Most of us push it aside, we push it down, we act like it doesn't happen, but we're not really healthy socially, emotionally, and mentally. Where do we need to go? Where do we, in these last 10 minutes before we get to the top of the hour, where do we need to turn? First of all, we need to admit that these things have happened, right? Because you can't get healed of something that you won't admit. So once we admit it, or if we don't admit it, how do you counsel your teenage patients and your young adult patients?
So I think let me just we'll talk about all this preventive care before Dr. Vivian came in, and we'll talk about sex. We change topic, but we're gonna talk about the management and the second half. Let me just complete about the other age group. From 45, from 40 between 25 and 45. That's the age of reproduction for women. We focus on child spacing, breastfeeding, exercise, diet is all part of the standard women health. But we talk about child spacing, breastfeeding, and then breast cancer screening start at 40 for women between 40 and 45. By the time between 45 and 50, we talk about menopausal symptoms. Women have all the symptoms of hot flushes,
yeah.
perimenopausal symptoms that they need care, other counseling and medication. That's when they have these things like emptiness syndrome coming. Their children leave home. They're not left with a man that have been managing the house for the past 20 years because of the children. The reality face to them. Are they going to deal with this man for the next 5, 10 years without the children around? These are all part of women's health. That's when they have to find things to do, like social interaction become more important. That they have to find a woman, a girls' club, or a girls' thing to make their mind, put their insanity together. 'Cause at that point in time, the children are out there. Remember, with children at home, when women are being abused, they focus on their children. But as children are gone, they have to deal with this guy in the house or for the rest of their life. So we talk about how to mitigate the emptiness syndrome to deal with it. Then after 50 or 55, the menopause set in when things like mood swings, more severe hot flushes. That's when things like breast cancer becomes very common. Things like uterine cancer, all the cancer thing becomes very, very common at that age. They have to emphasize their screening and protection and exercise, calcium supplement, vitamin D supplement, natural vitamin D, sun exposure, things like that to make their life healthy. Then after 65, this we talk about fractures, osteoporosis, old age, dementia, dealing with grandchildren, other family interaction come in. So women health is a whole lot of things that goes across all those things. That's why I started by saying that physical health, mental health, and social health is all part of healthy life. Then, but from 65, between 55 and 65, disease management becomes a problem. That's when the diabetes, the high blood pressure, the high cholesterol becomes a big issue in the life of women. They have to talk about screening for those conditions to keep them healthy. Then, of course, if a woman doesn't die between the age of 50 and 65, and they have no chronic disease like diabetes, hypertension, and cholesterol, they're most likely going to stay healthy till their 90s. Because between 50 and 65, that's when all these chronic conditions come in people's life, both men and women, that if you don't manage it very well, then it can affect your heart, your kidney, and thing. But if you don't develop high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or diabetes, by 65, it's very unlikely to develop. I mean, you could stay, but it's very unlikely. So women have to involve all this preventive care to make them healthy and live a normal life so they can take care of their grandchildren and their great grandchildren in their golden years.
Ain't nobody looking to take care of no grandkids and great grandkids in our old life.
No, it means just to be able to converse with them. But Dr. Goji, I like what you're saying because I'm not on any medication. And when I go to the doctor's office, are you on any medication? I just tell them I don't do drugs. They bust out laughing. But what you're saying is so true because if you get to a certain age and you don't not develop that, you won't develop it the rest of your life. But I just want to encourage everyone, even if you have something, I am grateful to God that I'm in divine health. You know, you can still, God can still heal you of that, whatever it is. And there are people who are not compliant. There are women, just like men, who don't take their medications. But what Dr. Goji say is so important. We're breaking it down by age groups.
Right.
As you see the progress, different age groups have different challenges. So this is so important. Thank you so much.
You know, Dr. Go, let me ask you, how have you seen as a doctor, and Dr. Vivian, I can ask you this as well. How have you seen as a doctor your patients' health issues been associated? How much have you seen your patients' health challenges been associated with lack of communication? Let's say unforgiveness, lack of communication.
Yeah, I would say one of the biggest killer in life in the golden years is isolation. If you're isolated, you are depressed. If you are depressed, you are finished.
Mm-hmm.
That's why our um that's why people don't have no social support, social network. They tend to get sicker and more ill because our mind is our biggest enemy. So if you develop, if I tell you that you have high blood pressure, you say, "Oh, I'm dead," you are dead.
Yeah, because you said it.
If you say, "Oh, what can I do, doctor?" I say, "Well, cut down your salt, eat healthy, exercise, lose some weight." You say, "I got this." Tell my patient, if you have, I use diabetes as an example. If I give you diabetes diagnosis, diabetes is going to damage your brain, your eye, your skin,
Your
your
feet.
kidney, your heart, your sexual organs. It's your choice to take care of diabetes, take diabetes and put it in your pocket by doing the right thing, or you let diabetes take care of you. If diabetes take care of you, you are gone. It's a choice, it's a battle. So if you want to win, you have to do the right things, which may include medication, exercise, counseling, or you do the wrong thing, let diabetes take care of you.
Dr. Goji, thank you so much. Dr. Vivian, we have 1 minute before the top of the hour, and maybe I'll go two. But can you answer that question in about 2 minutes? How have you seen your patients be affected by unforgiveness and things that they're holding in, isolation, not being able to talk?
It is a very key thing in my work because as a doctor, I have done a lot of Catholic work also. So with the Catholic Church, we do these sacraments of different, what we call sacraments, and one of them is the sacrament of confession. In my years, up about a decade in the Catholic hospital setting, many women I saw, especially that Dr. Urgoji was saying, very, very, very close in with hypertension that doesn't resolve, whether they're taking their medication or not, it doesn't resolve, epigastric pain that doesn't resolve, sleeplessness, those kinds of complaints. When you dig into them a little in the doctor's interview, one of the things I identified the most was unforgiveness, domestic violence. You see, when we say domestic violence, people think it is physical. No, much of it is subtle psychological violence. A kind of oppression that leaves the woman unhappy and looking for where to go to, and there's nowhere to go to. And she's in this marriage or in this family situation that in-laws, extended families are doing things to her. And she starts, and then you talk to her, and one of the things I identified was women commonly said to me in my consultation room, "No, doctor, there's too much. This happens, that happens. I cannot even forgive them. They are too much." I said, "Oh, really? Okay, we have to talk about that. How can you not forgive them? Do you pray the Our Father prayer? It was given to us by the Lord himself. He said, forgive me as I forgive them too. So do you think God will forgive your own shortcomings?
6:12.
I start a preaching right there, give that kind of teaching, and then subtly say, well, all these things you have told me, which parish do you come from? Please do make an effort to talk to your parish priest about the things you have told me. Just tell Father, I want confession. And when he puts on the stole and you talk to him, he keeps a secret. So don't, as you have talked in my office, nobody will hear it. I can never quote your name and say what you have said. In the same manner, Father will not quote you. So go and open up to Father even more than you have done here. Then I will put such a person on some simple B complex tablets. If they have been on hypertensive medicine, I just continue that. And I tell you, come back in 2 weeks. And in those 2 weeks, make sure you talk to Father. They come back healthy after a confession.
Awesome.
After bearing out their minds, they come back. I was talking to a Reverend sister. She always asks me, Dr. Vivian, what do you do to them? One day I just said, sister, I send them to confession. And she was like, what?
You go to the root cause. Unforgiveness.
It's a very big problem in women's health in Africa.
Yes.
I have encountered that so much. In fact, in 2 weeks ago, I gave a talk here to women on what they call a Women's Day of Prayer. And this was the mainstay of what I told them. I said, you women, you don't forgive your husbands and their families. You don't forgive people who have hurt you in life. You kill yourself by doing that. So forgive. Give them to God and live. Don't die because somebody hurt you.
That's
one
right.
day,
The
then you
biggest
spend your
thing is
whole life
unforgiveness.
in
So in Africa, they do a lot of praying. They do a lot of going to prayer mountain. But your prayers are going nowhere when you don't forgive.
That's right. Unforgiveness is the biggest blessing blocker.
That's the point. And your health is not good.
Yes, it's not. I have a sister. The reason I asked, I wanted to know where you as doctors were with this situation. But very quickly, I have a sister. I'm actually friends with her husband. And I got to meet her some years later, but I happened to call her one night. The Lord just put it on my mind to call her one evening. And she was telling me she had just come from the doctor. She was having a heart, she didn't survive cancer, and now she was having this heart issue. And the doctor subscribed to her. The doctor's prescription was, you need to go talk to someone. And I happened to call. So because I'm in America, she's in South Africa, and because we're sisters now, she know I'm not going to go call her husband and say, with the tribes, and we don't talk outside of the tribe. She was clear and free to unload on me what was going on in the family. When she went back to the doctors, not even a week later after that, the doctor said, I can tell you don't talk to somebody. Because her heart was now functioning at 100% capacity because she unloaded all that was going on inside the family and didn't have to worry about. So I'm just wondering if you as doctors are prescribing, counseling.
Can we answer that after the anthem? We have 4 minutes.
Yes, because we are a little bit over our time. So let's get to that conversation after the anthem, okay? But yes,
this is so good.
Our people need conversation and sisterhood more than we need medications and all the other stuff. We need to have somebody that we can talk to and be secure and safe inside. We'll be right back after we hear our anthem. Go grab a drink of water, come back, and we will be finalizing our conversation on women's health, ending up this month of women's history. See you in a few minutes.
Oh, Africa. Oh no. Africans, Africans for Africa. 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 Africans have many bright ideas. If only you let us share. If you really want to know my history, please come, sit down, listen to my story. God gave us a wisdom. He guides our footsteps, makes us shine and transform. Hey, as one people, with so many cultures, yet indeed we are one. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. Let us all unite behind AfricaOnline Media Corporation. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. It's time to come together, promote awareness, progress, and solution. Hey. Africans, Africans for Africa. Africans, Africans for Africa. Africans, Africans for Africa. All Africans can rally for a common cause, to believe without judgment in what our brother does, to identify and resolve our challenges, to allow each other's ideas without regard to standards. As one people with so many cultures, yes indeed we are one. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. Let us solve all the problems plaguing our continent. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. Let us empower Africans in and out of Africa. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. AfricaOnline Media Corporation, that's a good way to start. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. They have all the resources we need to benefit our society. Oh. Education for everyone, if we believe. Prosperity for Africans, if we believe. Medical facilitation for Africans, if we believe. Stand up, Africa, yes, for Africa. AfricaOnline Media Corporation, that's a good way to start. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. Africa is the cradle of civilization, the motherland. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. We were enslaved not because we were weak, but because of our hospitality. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. Jump on the AfricaOnline miracle jet. Don't be left behind. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. Together we shall succeed. Together we will win. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. We are writing our own story. the truth and we shall tell it to the world. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. No more lies. Africans own Africa.
No more lies. Africans own Africa. At this time, we will hear from our co-host, Professor Niasan, on next week's topic.
April is not a full month. It is a tax month. April is tax month, but also financial awareness month. So Africa Online Media Corporation will be focusing on those, especially from next Sunday. It will be financial literacy. You are literate academically, financially, and so on. So what is financial literacy? We'll be talking about that next Sunday. Except Her Highness has something to add?
Yes, I do. Yeah, we're gonna have Dr. Kwende and Dr. Nabilan Dumbe here as our guests. So they will be speaking on financial literacy and life insurance. And then the week after that, we're gonna have one of our advisory council members of our sister organization, Africa's Brain Bank, Mr. Douglas Eze, will be back. You know, he's been on here at least the last 3 years talking about, he's a cash value king. I'll encourage everybody to zoom in.
So, yeah, don't forget to declare your taxes because April is at the corner. And
April 15, yes.
April 15 is the last day to declare your taxes.
Yeah, then let me just real quick on the announcement before we go back to our sister organization is having its 6th annual summit and charity ball in New York City, Labor Day weekend. That's American Labor Day, not African Labor Day. That will be August the 28th through September the 1st in New York City. I'm telling you, this is a must attend. I've put the link on the chat box. Go ahead and register right now. Buy your ticket. When you buy your ticket, then you will get a link for the hotel room. We're expecting some heavyweights from Wall Street, from Nollywood. Our sister Vivian was talking. Our global ambassador is popularly known as RMD, and our ambassador to Africa is the one and only Ramsey Noah. So we have some other, we have the best plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills. Dr. Obeng will be there. Miss Melissa Mohammed with Black and Gold will be there. I mean, just some heavyweights. So the flyers will be coming out in the month of April. So that's the link there. Go ahead and purchase your ticket. When you purchase your ticket, then you'll get a link to the hotel. And the hotels are going to be sold out because the US Open is that weekend in New York City too. So I want to encourage everybody. We're going to be talking about brain drain. And I would actually be delivering the keynote for the first time because I'm actually the event coordinator, but because of this topic, that's our vision. I would have to deliver the keynote. So I'm very excited about that. I'm looking forward to it, and we'll be honoring Nia Song, Dr. Urgoji, Dr. Bitazong, and a couple of other people with the U.S. Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award, Volunteer Award. So New York is a place to be. It will be 5 amazing days. You don't have to attend. Thursday is just a welcome reception, but from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Friday night is dedicated to business people. So register your business to secure a spot on the panel on Friday night. We're going to have a targeted audience of business people, entrepreneurs, and investors there. And it's a lifetime advertisement. So if you go on that link also, if you're not able to make it, you can sponsor a student. We are hoping to have close to 100 students there from around the New York City area. And I think some students are supposed to be coming from abroad. So those students need to be sponsored. It's $250 per student. That money is not going to the organization. It's going to cover their meals, for their participation. So if you can't come, you can support, or if you open that link, let me just share real quick. Let me just share so that people will know. Hold on, you guys give me a second here. Let me share this. We can extend the show by 5 minutes. I want people to know where to go. Okay, so if you go, this is the link. If you go to our homepage, you'll see where it says register. It will take you here. Go down and scroll. It tells you, give you a summary. This link has all the events, the summary. It tells you about the organization, tells you about the event, the goals, and then the itinerary from Thursday. It tells you what's going to be happening, and then the ticket link. You can get a Saturday pass for $250 or 2-day pass for $500, or if you want complete access, it's $1,000. And then you go down, the sponsorship there. But I wanted to show you, go down here where it says promote your business. So even if you're not able to come, or if you can come, but you can still promote your business. It says promote your business here. So buy lifetime advertisement, you click it, it will take you to a link where it tells you if you're advertising your business card is $250, quarter page. It gives you all that details to advertise your business. I just wanted to share that. And this is a lifetime advertisement. So on all our platforms, you can't beat that. Over to you, Niaso.
Thank you very much. We will move on right away. But before we go, I must say that today, 30th of March, was the first time we ever had that special event that Reverend is talking about. It was 30th of March. I don't remember what year again, but
that was 2019. You're right. That was 2019.
Yes, 30th of March 2019.
Oh, Niaso, thank you for that.
That is that.
So and, today is the sixth
anniversary.
The sixth anniversary of the inaugural event. Look at that.
Yes. So it's
thank you. Yeah, Niaso was the one that opened up that. Yes. Open up that event, and we also launched the book Africa's Brain Power during that event. Thank you. Dr. Urgoji was there. Yes. You know, as always. All right. Thank you, Niaso.
And that being said, today, March 30th, I did not say it in the beginning, is also the day the United States of America bought Alaska from Russia at $7,200,000. At that time, that was a lot of money. But today...
Well, I'm sure Russia is regretting.
They are regretting now. America wants Greenland. They want other things. I hope money will not change hands. And I hope the people eventually, according to their government at the moment, say, no, they're not up for sale. Canada is not up for sale. Greenland is not up for sale. So please keep your ambitions.
And Gaza is not up for sale.
Gaza is not up for sale. So keep your ambitions within your limits. That said, let Africa Online continue with its discussion because all that is political. We're not doing politics, but remember, it's time to move on. Women's health. So what are some of those illnesses prevalent among the women especially? Anybody can take the lead, please. It's an open question.
I believe Dr. Goji addressed that at the very beginning. You said what health issues are prevalent?
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I think he did, yes.
Yeah, Dr. Urgoji did well to talk about it in terms of the diseases even divided into the age groups.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Yes, even according to the age group. Yes. Coming from the African end, I think I want to just add a few lines about challenges to women's health.
Okay, go right ahead.
Yeah, because one of the biggest challenges we face on the continent of Africa is healthcare delivery, as already known. So this does not leave out the women. You know, all those things Dr. Urgoji was mentioning, they are happening to the women. But the question is, how much access do they have to what they need? And I want to say that access is very limited. It has improved, no doubt, but it still leaves a lot to be desired. Because we are talking about a situation where we have 1 or 2 doctors, at most 3 doctors to 1,000 patients. This is a very dire situation. Everybody wants to leave the continent to, in quote, better places or greener pastures, whatever they call them. And it is leaving the continent with a lot of shortage of health personnel. Now, what some of our brothers and sisters are doing, who are in the diaspora, as we call them on the continent, they now come back with programs, and those are very helpful. You know, you have people who consider themselves into mission groups, health missions, and come and do things. Those are very helpful. But the challenge remains that many of these health programs or health problems that women have, that Dr. Urgoji had outlined so well, need attention, and then when they get this one-time mission visits, follow-up becomes again a challenge, because in medicine, follow-up is a known need. That it is not easy to do a one-time thing, and it's a how do I put it? It's an endpoint or an end solution to the situation. Now, what does that leave us with? It leaves us with a higher than desired maternal mortality rate and maternal morbidity, because we are still talking about up to 66% of global maternal mortality deaths happening in sub-Saharan Africa. This was documented by WHO in 2023, as recently as 2023, to say that of all 100 women who die in the world, 66 are from sub-Saharan Africa. It's still too high for us, because we could do better if we had better resources. But what challenges me as a person about that is my knowledge and experience with what I want to call global health talking. You know, I think way back in 1978, Dr. Urgoji, please correct me if I go wrong in this, but way back in 1978, WHO Assembly coined words of prevention is better than cure, resource poor setting, and this and that. We are a resource poor setting for 50 years without shaking from the spot. It's an embarrassment. It's a complete embarrassment, because where are our priorities? So in Africa, we easily say we don't have resources, but how much do we really need to do certain simple things? You know, I think the most absent resource is political willpower. I'm not a politician, but I say it because every country in Africa has a chance to improve healthcare to a certain extent. But for some reason, which is difficult for some of us who are not in politics to understand clearly, but we just watch from the side, from the side, nothing improves. We still have hospitals without electricity, without water, without personnel. They are still all over the place, even in big cities, even in some urban centers. You will go to a hospital and lights will go off on you, even in the theater. So what do we do? We need, I think, talking about health in Africa in general, and particularly women's health, we need to do, I don't do advocacy, but I don't know that advocacy can help in the sense of trying to get things better in terms of healthcare availability so that women can access healthcare, because it's one of the biggest challenges, lack of access. And even when there is health, even in places where there is healthcare, do these women have the money to go to the hospital is the other question. Because Africa is a male-dominated community. It's not a secret. So, and women themselves have committed themselves to that in the sense of their nurturing nature. What women do is that, I have said it before in one of these programs, and I always repeat it, that if you have a father and a mother and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 children in the household, so you're talking about some 6 members of the family at least. If everybody gets sick, the last person to go to the hospital will be the woman, the mother, because she will be giving priority to her husband, to her children, and they will be happy to be taking the priorities, and nobody's really looking at it like, okay, even though she's giving this priority, she is still the person who is managing the home, cooking all the food, even washing clothes, and keeping the house clean at the same time. So it's a big burden on women in itself. We will not forget domestic violence. One of the biggest challenges to women's health is still domestic violence. We just mentioned a while ago about forgiveness. Many women suffer very subtle, but present violence or abuse. You know, it's like, you know, it doesn't matter. You know, okay, but things are okay. She will always say things are okay, but she's dying inside. They are not okay. So how do we get these women to, how do we get to improve even on mental health availability to women? because just a simple counsel, Ambassador Lisa, you were talking about just a talk. How many people are available to be talked to listen to these women? People are not available. And even when they go to the hospital is so busy. The doctors have, if you see a doctor's consultation and see the number of people on the bench outside, he cannot spend 30 minutes with a patient. He will not go through the day. But this same doctor needs to be able to talk to these women. All these are challenges and more.
Yes.
They are challenges. And the low availability, what do I want to call it? Low knowledge. It is not absent, but it is inadequate knowledge of what they need to do and how they should do it.
Thank you, Dr. Vivian. Dr. Vivian, we are at the end of our show. We should be doing our final roundup, but we want to give Dr. Urgoji a couple minutes to answer that question that was posed to him before we do the round of the table. Thank you, everybody, for all your input. Dr. Urgoji.
You're muted.
What's the question again? Just remind me.
Yeah, that's right.
Who asked the question?
I think Nia-san put the question out.
No, but he said he has spoken about that.
Okay, let's just do the round of the table.
We were talking about prevention for some of these health challenges. Before the break, I was talking about were you prescribing friendship or sisterhood or
forgiveness,
conversation, as part of a patient's healing.
Okay.
Yes, I do. I mean, I encourage people to meet up with people with similar problems, to share their journey with that condition. I have someone with breast cancer. I want him or her to meet with other people with breast cancer. They share their journey, their common, so know their common problem or their common solution. Because when you hear from a fellow patient the way they handle things, it uplifts you. Know that things are possible. So we have things like group of people with chronic condition management. From my practice where I work, how we call awareness, call it partners awareness, whereby if you have a chronic condition, you meet up once a week. It's voluntarily. You come in, we talk about the condition, you share your journey with other patients, and people learn from one another. So as I said before, communicating with one another solves most of the problem. In fact, even healthcare, if you have a condition in your high blood pressure, you don't talk about it with other people, it will not get better. But you talk to other people, you say, well, for my blood pressure, I did X, Y, and Z, this is what I did, this is what I did. Then that tells us that, this is doable. Remember, health challenges coming. They kill you if you fail to handle them very well. But if you accept your condition and then accept to get better, then you get better. It doesn't matter what the doctor does. I can give you the best medication in this world to take. If you don't believe in that medication is going to help you, it's not going to help you.
That's true.
So your mental health is a key to your awareness. You must accept that I have this problem. It's not a death sentence. I want to get better and I'll get better. Then you get better.
That is so true.
Great. Yes. At this point, I think we're going to do a round of the table, and we'll start from across the continent so that Dr. Khumbah can have time to relax and rest for the evening. Dr. Khumbah, please unmute and give us your last word. We'll start with you.
Yes, thank you so much. As the last word, I have just in what I said, I just talked about challenges, but I want to share 2 or 3 case studies from Africa that show some improvement in the healthcare systems. The first one is the story of Rwanda. Rwanda reduced maternal mortality by 77% between the years 2000 and 2020 through community health insurance. What we call community health insurance is the best thing that is happening in Africa. We had that, I worked on that in Cameroon. It's a very good program. Rwanda made it national, and they focused on maternal and child health, and it helped them to reduce maternal mortality between 2000 and 2020. I was not able to get statistics for the most recent one, but I'm still looking for it. I will get it. And then they also had there's also the story of Ethiopia. In Ethiopia, the government was able to do a special program and deploy 40,000 health workers to rural areas to be able to improve access to healthcare. In Kenya, they improved attendance in the antenatal clinic for women by SMS reminders. So they made it possible for every woman to have a chance to receive a message from the hospital, and it worked very well. So these are things that have worked on the continent of Africa and can be replicated in other places. I just thought I should share them because it is not a complete sad story. The story is not too good, but it's not completely sad because some people at least are trying to sit up and see that we can do something and make progress. So we have problems, we have ways we can solve them. We pray we can solve them. Thank you.
Wait,
Thank you very much. Yes.
Niason, before you go to the next person, Dr. Khumbah, I did not know, and that's what I like about this show. First of all, it's unscripted, and then we learn every day. Every week we come here. So please, we are discussing life insurance, financial literacy in April. Dr. Khumbah and Dr. Urgoji, we have to discuss this community health insurance next month. Please, the last Sunday of next month, let's take that up because some people may not know about it, even in those countries. So we are here to raise awareness about issues that affect our people and seek solutions to those issues and make progress. So I'm giving you guys one more notice. The last Sunday of April, we're going to be discussing this community health programs, to improve not just women, but please I just wanted to say that. Thank you, Niason.
Thank you, Dr. Crossley. If you're ready, please unmute and say your last word. And Debbie, please get ready. You'll come after Dr. Crossley.
So very much. I just want to say this has really been energizing conversation and thought-provoking. And, of course, there's no one size fits all. Both doctors were answering my questions simultaneously before I could ask it.
That's good.
And so I would just like to, in the roundtable session, to say that for me, mindfulness and while I'm even listening to the program, mindfulness, being present, and also self-care, creating my own spa at home for self-care, spiritually, mentally, physically, wholeness, scheduling appointments, actually working from home, remote, taking care of everything like ground zero. And I want that for every woman to be able to have her own ground zero. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and see you next Sunday. Debbie, if you're with us, please unmute and give us your last word.
And please don't disappear again.
Your Excellency, thank you so much, Dr. Vivian and Dr. Urgoji. Dr. Vivian, I really appreciate your summary. It just brought back to mind a helper that I had in Kenya, and actually that person benefited from the community insurance you're talking about. And the baby she had at the time is now 10 years old. And she didn't have anything. If that system was not there, I don't know how I would have been able to provide for her and all the medical issues she was going through. So I hope, as you rightfully said, it will be possible to replicate what has happened in Rwanda, Ethiopia, and Kenya in other parts of the continent to benefit not just the women, but the population as a whole. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And if you disappear, go along, get a new phone that will reach us from wherever you are. That being said, Ambassador Lisa, please, your last word.
Thank you, Nia-san. So this has been a very enriching conversation talking about women's health as we close out the month of March, which is Women's History Month, or should I say Women's Her Story Month. We thank all of our guests for being with us today. We appreciate all of your input. Look forward to you joining us every Sunday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. every Sunday Eastern Standard Time. Now, it may not be 4:30 in your time. So use the timezoneconverter.com to find out what time we come on in your area, and feel free to join us as we are covering a lot of different topics that benefit the African on the continent and those of us in the diaspora. Like and follow us on Facebook and on YouTube, and we'll see you again next Sunday.
Thank you. Your Highness, your turn to say your last word.
Yes, this is so awesome. I like the fact that this show is unscripted, makes it authentic. I want to thank Dr. Urgoji, Dr. Vivian Khumbah, Dr. Crosslin, Sister Debbie McCormick, Ambassador Lisa Unia Song, and of course, let me not leave myself out. I have put the link, the YouTube link in the chat box. It's also on AfricaOnline WhatsApp forum. Please share it, put it on your WhatsApp status, just share it and keep sharing. If you are on this program and you have not subscribed to our channel or like it, please go to Africa Online TV and subscribe, or play this YouTube link and subscribe there, so that we need to keep pushing this stuff. I wish we were streaming on YouTube from 9 years ago, but it's better late than never. We're streaming on Facebook. No, excuse me, we just switched to YouTube last month. So we're gonna keep switching on streaming on YouTube. Women's health, it's very important, just like men's health and children's health. I think we covered a lot of stuff today. And next week, we'll be learning financial literacy and life insurance. So please join us, as Ambassador Lisa say. Thank you so much, Niaso.
Thank you so much. Dr. Urgoji, please, your last word.
Well, all I will say is that it said educate the woman, educate the whole country.
That's
If
true.
the woman is healthy, then the family is healthy, the country is healthy.
Yeah.
So let's focus on women's health, make sure they get what they want, and hopefully one day, our communities in Africa will realize that healthcare is human right. Because as Dr. Khumbah just said, every woman know that they need to get a mammogram, need a pap smear, they need all those things. But in Africa, it costs money.
Mm-hmm.
So tell a woman, come get a pap smear, you pay me $50. She said, what? To hell with that. She will not come. Meanwhile, in this part of the world, a woman will come to me because she has a cough. Because it's insurance. I'll treat her. But if she has to pay for that cough, she will not come. So to make healthcare a human right for the whole world, especially Africa, health will not improve. So the government invest more in healthcare and invest less in corruption. We have the money and make it better, but let's stop stealing the money, because you steal the money, you die, you leave it. How much do you steal? Thank you.
Thank you
so much, Dr. Urgoji. Your Highness, the last word again.
I already gave my last word.
I know. I just
well, let me thank Dr. Urgoji for spending his life taking care of women and bringing babies into this world. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. And it is the end of this show today. We appreciate everyone for being here. Please take care and see you next week.